Business Spotlight, brought to you by Cross Rhythms and Baba Baboon.
I'm Sonya and this is Business Spotlight in partnership with Cross Rhythms City Radio and Baba Baboon. Joining me in the studio this week, we've got Nick Wiseman, who's the Senior Account Manager at Heatons. Hello, Nick.
Afternoon, how are you doing?
I'm good, how are you?
Very good, very good.
Good. Thank you so much for coming in here into the studio for Business Spotlight. Now, before we go anywhere, I'm just going to ask you just to explain a little bit about what Heatons do and what they're all about.
So Heatons are a business supplies partner. Mm-hmm. So anything that crosses a business's threshold, from general office supplies, facilities and cleaning, workwear and PPE, interiors, office furniture, promo print, anything you can think of, we supply. And the idea of Heatons is to consolidate everything into one place. So we've not got different suppliers and people going all over the place. We can streamline it as much as possible for a business. And
I suppose from what you just said there, you're consolidating everything in one place, which as a business or business owners, no matter what size of a business you are, you do want that simplicity.
Oh God, yeah.
You do want that, and you do need that, and those sort of quick, easy solutions. So how is that? Is that always sort of part of what Heatons is about, that ethos and that culture in helping a business?
Yeah, I think, there's a lot of suppliers out there that, will tend to go down the box moving route, and that's absolutely fine. But Heatons tends to, or will look at a client as a long-term partnership rather than just a business transaction, because, the consolidation is very, very good, and that's great, and that's fantastic. But what does that consolidation do? How does that help the business? And how can we align ourselves with that business for 3, 6, 12, 18 months, even further down the line? So the consolidation scratches the surface, but where we can get involved and support a business as much as possible from, the efficiency side of things, streamlining it, then looking at costs and looking at their long-term plans, that's where, Heatons really does support their clients.
And again, that, being cost effective, again, as a business owner, you are always looking at ways where you either, you've got budgets which you need to align to, you've got other budgets which come into play, which are out of your control. But, how important is that, would you say, from a business then, on how you can sort of make sure keeping that streamlined service does provide more of a cost-effective route without losing quality as well?
Yeah, I think that's a big one. When you talk about consolidating things, the potential to cut corners, I think it's really important that the quality then stays. I think if you're looking at, business owners, CEOs, FDs that will look at the budget, it doesn't really just come down to the actual numbers. Looking at every single area of the business, looking at the budgets that they've got, making sure that we can streamline that as much as possible, consolidating everything into one place. But it then gives them the visibility to go, right, okay, I now know what I've earmarked for the next 3, 6, 12 months time, which will allow me to then look at other projects for the business, or where I can place that saving into other parts of the business to help the business grow, or, coming up to April, maintain that even keel and, make sure that those stormy waters are just a bit bumpy rather than full on choppy.
And, another thing that is sort of quite a hot topic, I've had a lot of businesses in here over the last 12 months, and sustainability seems to be coming up more and more, I'll be totally honest. And how a business thinks now, no matter what they're doing or what even sector that they are in. But sustainability, when you're looking again at whether it's, business supplies, on whether it's PPE, whether it's, stationery or equipment, clothing, branded clothing, promotional material, sustainability does seem to be cropping up a lot more with the conversations that I'm having. But again, how can sustainability be more, I suppose, cost effective, and how can a business understand that better now with everything that Heaton supply as well?
Yeah, I think it comes down to no one can be perfectly sustainable. No one can be 100% recyclable. It's about making better buying decisions, and it's about looking at where there are alternatives. It's not just for the products itself, but for the businesses. They're coming increasingly under a lot of pressure to hit certain sustainability guidelines and targets and goals. It's about having those conversations with us to sit down and say, look, this is where we would like to be. Where can you help us? And if it's more ethically sourced products, whether it's recycled products, whether it's products from recycled sources, we can look at so many different options for a business now. But we can help them hit their targets and make them it's very difficult when you look at putting stuff on websites and we're this and we're that, and that's great, but it's getting them to understand that this goes far beyond box ticking and targets now. Even people within the business, we're looking at the new people coming into these businesses now, their ethos has changed, the culture that they expect in a business has changed, and you can't just talk the talk anymore, you have to walk the walk. So whether it be small changes to like promotional materials, whether we look at bamboo pencils, for example, whether we look at recycled plastic bags, we start in our supply chain first, and then we roll that into our clients. So, all of our sites are zero to landfill. We recycle toners in every site. We remove single-use plastics in our supply chain. These are the sorts of things that we will go through first and then roll that down to our clients to help them make better buying decisions on the more sustainable products.
And I suppose doing that, whether, anybody is supplying to any business and vice versa, if that business is sort of instigating those methods and those processes, so they can, like you say, not just talk the talk, but walk the walk as well, and prove that they can do it. Do you think that's actually part of, should I say, like a solution in trickling down the importance of sustainability down the food chain or the supply chain?
100%. So what we look at with our supply chain is not just what we're buying and can we get it at the right cost, but where it's coming from. Is it ethically sourced? Are there areas that we can look at our suppliers and hold them to account? That obviously trickles down to us, and then we would expect our clients to do exactly the same to us, to hold us to account as to what are we doing to look at these emissions targets, for example. What are we doing for ethically sourced products? And in our supply chain, they hold us to account because their clients will then hold them to account. It's it does trickle down, but it's got to start with someone like Heatons going, actually, I want to know where this is coming from, and I want to be transparent, and that's a big thing, transparency with our clients as to where something's come from, what part of it is recyclable, what part of it is recycled, what's sustainable, and being honest with them so they can then pass that down the chain to their clients as well.
And how do the clients that you deal with yourself, are they more receptive now in 2025 to this kind of thing? Sustainability, it's not such a stigma anymore.
No, I think weirdly, like you said, every conversation that you're having at the moment is coming back to sustainability and recyclable and ethically sourced. Every conversation I have will start with that. A lot of the time, and that's regardless of industry. So because of what we do, retail, hospitality, legal, manufacturing, regardless of what industry, the first conversation is around sustainability and what are we doing as a business, what qualifications do we have, what we partner with a company called Weaver, which is industry specific around how we as a business operate from a sustainability point of view. So, what qualifications do you have? What certification have you got? Before we even get into can you supply or what is the cost, it starts with sustainability. So we're geared up for that conversation because our clients are more receptive to that now than they ever have been, because the pressure's been put on them and then the pressure's on us as well. So yeah, it's every conversation. And absolutely everyone. You
mentioned there something as well, even like bamboo pencils.
Yeah.
And, different things like that and different aspects like that. Can you see, or are you already seeing where if a business, is taking these on as a sustainability goal or to meet a target, but doing it again with more meaning, can you see where those sort of products as well could become quite trendy in themselves indirectly?
100%. And you see people going to events. A lot of the time they want giveaways, for example, little goodie bags. People will look through those goodie bags straight away and go, plastic pen. It's from a brand perspective, it's massively important to them to be seen to be doing their part on top of everything else. So yeah, the bamboo pencils, I don't want to bore you about recycled toilet roll, but there's loads of things like that have a massive impact, not just on the business but the whole supply chain, and it is important to them, and it is something that some of the toilet roll dispensers, for example, that are recycled orange cartons. It's a talking point, and it really is something that everyone wants to have in their business or in their school, or it really does sort of start to trickle down. But like you say, everyone's more open to these conversations now. Everyone's more switched on to what they have to do as a business, and they'll start holding their supply chain to account.
So again, from your experience and everything that you do there at Heatons as well, apart from the sustainability angle, which is absolutely great, and it's great to hear, again, how more business is becoming more and more receptive from everything, that you do as a supplier. But what else could a business do? Or I suppose, are there any other better buying practices that a business can instill which can actually help the wider part of the business?
100%. I think, the sustainability side is great, but what, businesses are consistently looking at now with everything that's coming up in April is, more pressure is going to be put on them. The bills are going to get bigger. So
with the budgets,
budget changes, national insurance, all of that's coming into effect in April. Every single sector is going to get, feel that pressure. Yep. So it's up to us really to start looking at what they're currently buying, make sure that they're making better buying decisions. So when we talk about even a small to medium-sized business, you will have probably 3 or 4 different departments in there. They will all have their own budget. They will all we buy these pens, or we buy this paper. They're all operating independently. So what we try and do is go in, have a look at what they're buying, make some sensible business decisions, try and streamline that as much as possible. But then also looking at, from an efficiency point of view, you've got 3 different people ordering different things throughout the week, and you've got 3 different deliveries turning up, potentially from 3 different suppliers. So what we try and do is streamline that as much as possible and have a look at that. If instead of making 3 deliveries a week, why don't we make 1 big delivery every 2 weeks? And then we look at, do you really need that paper? Can we suggest a cheaper alternative, because it's probably going to save you X over a period of time? And then start to really condense that as much as possible. So it is streamlined. So you're taking what is potentially 3 people's work into 1, putting it all online so they can buy that, but they've also got that consistency of pricing that they know exactly, okay, well, I was spending this, I'm now spending that. I can then look forward to, okay, well, what will that saving do for me? Where can I put that saving into the business, into my people, or into a project that's going to push my business further? That's where we sort of have these sort of conversations, rather than, I've got something, would you like to buy it? It's more, tell me about where the business is going in the next 12 months. What do you need to free up? What are the real pain points, and where can we sort of take over some of that headache? You look at some of the online marketplaces, I won't mention any names, but you can go on there and you could probably buy all the products that we sell, but when you look at the price on a Monday to the price on a Thursday, it varies massively, and there's no real visibility of where that product's coming from. If we can give you that visibility on the product, on the spend, and be able to forecast with transparency of, okay, I know what I'm doing here, that then frees that business up to do what they need to do, and we'll take all the mundane boringness out of it and allow them to get it doing what they do best, which is, whatever sector they're in. So that's kind of where our power is taking all of that away from the business, running a comb through it and going, there you go, here is it back. And then we work with them over a period of time to really make sure that those core lists of products that they're buying is definitely needed, is at the right price, and that it is sustainable for them moving forward, that they know what they can put into other projects. And it's great being with these businesses over 12, 18 months into the 2 or 3 years time to say, look at where we started, these projects that you've gone through, in an indirect way we've supported that, and it's something we really do take pride in.
So it sounds like it's more as well, from what you're saying there, is that education piece as well.
100% is, if it wasn't an education piece, if it wasn't the strategic partnership, I don't think Heatons would have been in business as long as it has, because we get very close to our customers, helping educate them and also supporting them and being sort of part of their procurement in a way is the beauty of what we do, and it's why the people that work for Heatons love doing what we do, because it is so much more than a service or a box moving exercise. It's getting really involved with the business and helping them toilet rolls is by the by. It's the long-term plans with this business that we really enjoy.
Yeah, and just going back on touching on the education, I suppose any business owner or anybody in a senior position who's dealing with these kind of these things within the organisation, it can sometimes be whether they're too busy or they just feel that they haven't got time to look into it. So I suppose having a helping hand in a way to come in and, like you're saying, to trust that education side of it and that guidance could actually be quite a big cost saver in the future. Yeah,
it is. And I think you're right. You know, when you look at everything that business owners, FDs, MDs, that are all going through, time is probably one of the biggest commodities that they're so time poor. So if we can come in and do that for them, take that away from them, but deliver back a solution that is going to help them in the future, then great. I think, the education piece, we have been in the industry for a very, very long time, like 39 years. We know what we're talking about, but we also make sure that we are at the forefront of things that are changing in the industry, either new products, new initiatives, new ways of working, because we know that the business world moves so quickly. You can't afford to stay still. You have to be at the forefront. So we do all of that, so businesses don't have to. So we can educate them on, just to let you know, this is changing, this is going to be coming in, this may affect you down the line, so I've got this plan in place that I think will help you out, and run that by them, rather than them have to sit down and take time out of their day to sort of pull people in to go, what are we going to do here? We're sort of giving them here's the plan, this is what we're going to be doing, and this is how it impacts you. And then it's very easy for them to go, yeah, okay, we'll do that. And then they can just keep moving forward.
And again, on the sustainability angle as well, and everything you said there, even the education side of it, are there any particular sectors who are more receptive, or does it vary that you come across? I
think it really varies. I think everybody now is on that journey. Certain industries have gotten on the bandwagon or the train a bit later, but everyone's on there now. You look at people like the automotive industry, because of what they do and because of where they are, they're a bit further ahead than a lot of people. Hospitality or businesses that are in the public eye, they've had to move at pace, so they're a bit further along. A lot of office spaces that you see, solicitors, for example, they're also on that journey. But I think everyone's at a certain stage or a certain level now, and it's starting to move with pace. So we're trying to make sure everyone's kept up and make sure we're all moving in the right direction. But I don't think there's any one industry that's been left behind. Everyone's there now. Just people, certain industries, certain sectors, because of what they do, are a bit further forward in that journey, and are more receptive, and sometimes will come to us with, oh, do you know? Yeah, okay, we're on that. So yeah, there's certain industries that are on the high end of the scale, but everyone's on that journey now, which is great.
And with all the, like you say, the cost, saving costs within a business and everything that we've talked about, is there anything else that you can foresee in going forward, which will be coming into play more and more, where a business will be looking at different angles again of saving costs within their supply chain?
I think there's a lot of interesting things coming in the next sort of couple of months. Obviously after April, things are going to be a bit choppy, but then it will calm down a bit after that. And I think once that's happened, I think people are going to start taking stock of, okay, what does my procurement look like? There's a lot of things coming on now with AI, something I didn't really want to talk about, but we're now being forced into that conversation because it is at the forefront of what's going on. So that side of procurement is probably going to get affected quite a bit. So we need to make sure that we're ahead of that. But on the basic side of things, I think it'll stay very, very similar. Businesses are always looking to make sure that they're, being as cost effective and using their budget to its maximum. So the issues that we help to solve will always be there in whatever guise it presents itself. But I think there'll be more sectors that come available. We need to make sure that we've got everything that a business needs in one place. So we'll constantly be looking at other areas and other sectors to make sure that we are at the top of this sort of sector, so we can provide that level of service or product to a client quite seamlessly without having to go and look for it. It's just there for them.
And just, before you go, Nick, as well, just explain, just going back to Heatons as well, you serve quite a wide area all over Staffordshire, Stoke-on-Trent, Cheshire and further afield as well. Is there, I'm just going to ask, you might not know, but I'm just going to put you on the spot, is there any scope to widen or, expand any further in the UK?
Absolutely. the local areas for us of where our offices are based and local areas where people work are really important to us. Stoke-on-Trent, Staffordshire, for me personally, is a big focus, and one that I want to support as much as possible. But we have clients further afield already, and we're looking at expanding that even further. So it doesn't matter where you are in the UK, we can help you. But these local areas are massively important to us, that we look after where we operate first, make sure that we've done everything we can here before looking further afield. But if you're in the local area, we can service you. If you're further afield, we can still service you.
And one more thing again before you go, I'm just going to ask you as well, Nick, and this might be putting you on the spot a little bit, so answer as best you can. But in the role that you're in, in the industry that you are in,
okay,
what is it, and this might sound a bit cliche, but what is it that you enjoy the most about what you do for Heatons?
I've been asked this a number of times, so you're not putting me on the spot. It's absolutely fine. I've worked in other industries before, other industries that people might look at and go, wow, that's really exciting. Why would you want to go and sell pens, paper, tea, coffee and toilet rolls? It's probably the most fulfilling industry that I've ever worked in.
Okay.
Because there is no customer, no client out there that I can't talk to, that I can't help. And that's the benefit. That's the beauty of the role that I do. Is it's not really about pushing a product or a service. It's about understanding a customer and being that person that when something goes wrong in the business or something's needed, I am the first phone call that they make. That for me is perfect. That's exactly what I want to be, the trusted partner or strategic partner to a business. That's the beauty of what I do. And as long as that stays as it is, this is an industry for me for a very, very, very long time. So yeah, it's not about box moving. It's about the relationships. It's about the partnerships, and it's about long-term plans for my clients rather than the short-term goals.
Nick, thank you so much.
No problem. Thank you.
I hope you've enjoyed that, being here in the Cross Rhythm studio.
Absolutely.
That's Nick Wiseman here on Business Spotlight with me, Sonya Farrell.
Business Spotlight, shining a light on our local business community. Brought to you by Cross Rhythms and Baba Baboon.